security camera. Footage nobody can explain. Have you ever checked an old security camera recording and noticed something you swear wasn't there before? Most people install cameras, hoping they'll never capture anything unusual. But sometimes, the most ordinary night records something that leaves more questions than answers. Today's story is about a homeowner who thought they were reviewing routine footage, until one small detail changed everything. And even now, no one can fully explain what the cameras captured. It all started with Daniel, a software engineer who had recently moved into a quiet neighborhood on the edge of town. The streets were peaceful, the neighbors were friendly, nothing ever seemed out of place. A few weeks after settling in, Daniel installed several security cameras around his property. Not because anything had happened. He simply liked knowing everything outside his home was being recorded. For days, the cameras captured exactly what you'd expect. Cars passing by, cats wandering across the driveway, neighbors walking their dogs. Nothing unusual. Then one Monday morning, Daniel noticed something strange. One of the cameras had detected movement at exactly 2:17 in the morning. Curious, he opened the recording. Standing at the edge of his driveway was a person. They weren't trying to enter the property. They weren't looking around. They were simply standing there, completely still. After about 3 minutes, they quietly turned around and walked away. Daniel assumed it was someone who had become lost. It seemed odd, but not impossible. So he forgot about it. Until the next morning. The notification appeared again. Motion detected. 2:17 a.m. Daniel replayed the footage. There they were again. The same person, standing in exactly the same spot. Not moving, not looking at the house, not speaking, just waiting. The recording lasted 3 minutes. Then the figure slowly walked away once more. This continued every single night. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Always at 2:17. Always for exactly 3 minutes. Daniel became fascinated. He zoomed into the footage frame by frame. The person wore the same dark clothing every night. Their face remained hidden by the shadows. Even stranger, the neighborhood cameras across the street never captured the person approaching. They only appeared once they entered Daniel's camera view and disappeared before reaching the next camera. It didn't make any sense. Daniel checked for recording errors. Nothing. He updated the camera software. No changes. He even replaced the camera with a newer model. Yet every night, at exactly 2:17, the figure returned. Soon, Daniel mentioned it to a nearby neighbor. The neighbor looked confused. "I've never seen anyone standing outside your house." Daniel showed the recordings. The neighbor watched silently, then asked a question Daniel hadn't considered. "Have you ever looked outside while it's happening?" Daniel hadn't. He had only watched the recordings the next morning. So that night, he stayed awake. At 2:16, he stood behind his living room curtain, watching the driveway. His clock slowly changed. 2:17. Nothing. The driveway was empty. No footsteps, no movement, no person. Completely silent. His phone buzzed. Motion detected. Daniel looked down at the notification, then immediately looked back outside. Still nothing. Heart racing, he opened the live camera feed. There, on his phone, the same motionless figure stood exactly where it always had, but through the window, there was absolutely no one. Daniel looked from the screen, to the driveway, back to the screen, again and again. The figure never moved. 3 minutes later, it slowly turned around and disappeared from the camera view. Outside, the street remained completely empty. The next morning, Daniel copied every recording onto multiple hard drives. He sent the footage to camera experts, security technicians, even video editors. No one could explain what they were seeing. Some believed it was an unusual camera malfunction. Others thought it was a trick of light and timing. But no one could recreate the same result. Eventually, Daniel moved away. The recordings remain one of the strangest things he has ever experienced. Whether it was an unexplained technical glitch, an incredible coincidence, or something no one has yet understood, no one knows for certain. But here's the question. If your security camera showed something you couldn't see with your own eyes, would you trust the camera or your own vision? If you enjoyed this mystery, don't forget to subscribe for more unexplained stories that blur the line between ordinary life and the unknown. And remember, sometimes the most unsettling mysteries begin with something as simple as pressing play.